Disclaimer, this podcast contains adult themes, adult dialogue, and spoilers. Our opinions are just that, opinions. We are not bashing any of the creators we discuss, and we are not bashing you if you perceive things differently than us. Listeners and viewer discretion is advised.
Lara Jean Covey is in love and loves being a girlfriend, but she realizes that it isn't everything she's fantasized about. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Story and Things, a storytelling podcast. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli.
And we are doing a continuation today.
Yes, still wearing the same clothes.
Because,
we're here doing the whole thing.
We're doing it. We're going to finish this while it's still fresh.
Yes.
So what are we talking about today, Cheli?
The second book in the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy. Mm-hmm. It is called To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. And
P.S.
Just to preface, we're mainly talking about the movie adaptation.
Yes, because I read the books. You did not read the books, but I have to honestly say that I prefer the adaptation over the books.
Yeah. I
do think that the way that it was written was geared to the
younger audience.
Yeah. And I did appreciate that this felt more mature.
Yeah.
Which I liked both, but I preferred the adaptation. So
yes.
That's why we're talking about it.
Let's just real quick remind everyone who our characters are, just in case anyone joins, halfway through.
Okay.
But we have two main characters. We have Lara Jean, who is the middle child of a family of 3 girls. Mm-hmm. And she has always been extremely timid. But because of events in the first book, she is now dating Peter Kavinsky.
Who is very popular. And Peter Kavinsky is a popular lacrosse player. Now that we know.
Yes, we are never doubted that he was a lacrosse player.
Never. We were contemplating what sport was it again? Anyway, lacrosse. He and Lara Jean are really into each other in this movie and book.
And this is basically them beginning to date. Because right after the first movie is basically as soon as this one takes off, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we can assume because Lara Jean is getting ready for her date. Yes. And she looks so good.
Oh my gosh, she does.
So beautiful. And she's really excited. She's even telling Kitty, do I look like a girlfriend? Like I look different, right? And she's really excited. And Peter takes her to this Italian restaurant, a really nice one too. And she's telling him well, this is my first date. And she's super excited about it. And even Peter seems excited about it, too.
And, even after their date, they go to do this lantern thing where they write their name on a lantern, their initials.
Yeah.
They fill it up and they just put the lantern to the sky.
Yeah, well, Lara Jean explains to Peter that you're supposed to write a wish on the lantern and then let it go. And Peter at first is like, well, why are you putting our initials? And the way that she explains it is kind of not very well. So he is like, are you already seeing the end? Why are you wishing for us if this is our first date? And she's just like, I'm a romantic, I guess. I don't know. So then she writes down the initials and then they let it go. And it's so cute. It's a really cute moment that they have together as a first date.
I think it's really cute too. He drives her home. Mm-hmm. And even when they drop each other off, it's just really cute because he's like, if I wasn't me, how would you describe our first date? And she's like, perfect.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
They're both so awkward together, but it works.
Yeah. I think they're just shy a little bit because, it's her first real relationship. And I think he has been with Jen for God knows how long that he doesn't even really know how to do this stage again. Yeah. So I think they're both trying to learn this together.
But they are dating. Life is good.
They're living it up together.
Lara Jean's family does this
Korean New Year?
Yeah. And, she dresses in a Korean outfit along with Kitty because it's just something that their family does in honor to respect her mom and their culture.
Because her mom is not in the picture anymore. She passed away, I'm assuming years ago. Their father is white, and he loves seeing them like that. Because it's honoring their mother.
Yes, but while they are here, we see that Lara Jean gets a letter.
No, once they go back home.
Yeah, once they go back home. She's still in her Korean outfit. Mm-hmm. She sees that she gets a letter, and it's a response from one of the letters that she sent out.
So if you didn't see the first one, she sent out
Five letters.
Well, Kitty sent them out.
She sent one out to Peter, of course. Josh, which was Margo, her sister's boyfriend and her best friend. To Kenneth.
Kenny.
Kenny.
I think Kenny. Yeah.
Kenny G.
Kenny.
The saxophone player.
Kenny from camp.
But that letter came back.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Because she addressed it to the camp.
Lucas. Who is one of her best friends now.
Yeah.
And to
John Ambrose McClaren, which I didn't really like how they first brought up John Ambrose because they made it seem like, oh, it's just some guy that only Lara Jean knew. But
that's what I assumed too.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
I didn't like that because in this movie, it's insinuated that, oh no, John Ambrose was actually everybody's friend.
Yeah.
When they were all young, but then he moved away. So she met him in also a camp?
I think so. They started becoming friends at camp, but they specifically, it was like a Halloween party where everyone dressed up, but everyone kind of toned down the way they dressed up, and she was dressed as an egg.
I think so. I don't know. It was like it was like something big, and he did something big too.
So at that point, she felt something.
Yeah, she was like, "All right, there's my friend."
Yes, but John Ambrose wrote back and was like,
"Hey, Lara Jean.
What's up?
You know what? I always thought you..." Oh, he compliments her. He's like, "I always thought you were super mature for your age. I would have never been able to make these sort of sentences at that age of when she wrote the letter." And he was just complimenting her. And she was so smitten by it because she's never gotten a handwritten love letter, like a long one. And so she's just like freaking out. And she's like, I have to respond right because it would be rude if I didn't.
Yes. I kind of hate to because as soon as she reads it, she's like, wait, does he like me?
Oh my God, I think he likes me.
It's like, girl, you're dating Peter.
You're literally already taken, Lara Jean.
And the next day.
No, remember, she actually starts writing the letter.
Oh, you're right.
And every time she writes back, she always crosses a line.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I remember you being really cute. Oh, I can't say that. Oh my God, yeah, I love when we would hang out and then I wouldn't stop thinking about you. Oh my God, can't say that.
Yeah.
So she would always like say something a little too, you make it seem like you make it seem like you're single, girl. You're not. So then the next day at school,
she is hesitant about telling Peter.
But she feels like she should.
So she brings it up kind of casually, like, oh, by the way.
Remember John Ambrose?
Yeah, he wrote me back.
And he's like, oh my God, John Ambrose, that was
my boy?
That was my boy. And oh my God, I just hate the way that they did this. It was so annoying. She tells him about the letter. He's just like, why are you bringing it up? Are you trying to write him back? Are you asking me for permission? He's very confused. And she tells him, I just think it would be weird if I didn't tell you that he wrote me back.
Yeah.
So.
But it's like, are you thinking of writing him back? And she's like, I don't know.
I mean, out of courtesy, you know.
And he's like, all right. Like, he doesn't really mind.
No.
Because there's nothing threatening about this situation to their relationship.
Not yet, at least.
Because.
But then.
They plan to meet at the coffee shop because he's going to practice.
Yes. So there's a couple of instances when, unfortunately, Peter is too busy for Lara Jean. Because remember, he's popular and then he's in the lacrosse team.
Yeah. Basically, she goes to the coffee shop and she's sitting there and people keep going up to her like, can I take that seat? And she's like, no. No, it's for my boyfriend. He's coming.
You know, Peter? Yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry.
And she waits for like an entire hour, I think.
Yeah.
And he runs in and he's like, oh my God. Like, I'm so sorry. It's just, I got caught up with practice. They weren't letting us leave. And, I'm sorry. Because after this, they go to kind of like a little carnival, like a fair. And everything's better. The fair is fine. So they don't mention the coffee shop thing. But then other instances start to happen. So around this time, it's also Valentine's Day.
Oh, that was so sad. So they're doing this volunteer thing where it's almost like a community fair.
Yeah.
So all of these volunteer groups are there and they're supposed
you're right.
And they're supposed to sign up to where they want to volunteer. And Peter already told his friends like that he was going to do a specific one with them. But Lara Jean wants to do the senior home because that's where Margo volunteered.
Yeah.
And she says that it would look really good in her resume.
Mhm.
So she signs up.
College resume.
Right, exactly, her college resume. So she signs up for that one. And at this point, remember Jen goes up to her and she's like, oh my God, I saw your post, by the way, to their first date when he took her to that Italian restaurant. I saw your post about that.
He always takes us there.
Yeah, he...
whoa. She was like sitting there. But she was like, oh, classic Kavinsky. He always goes to this Italian place.
Yeah.
By the way, if you still want to fit in your jeans, you should probably get the salad next time.
Yeah, because I would always get the pasta and...
Oh my God, I hate... Because Lara Jean even says it. Like, I never knew that I had to feel insecure about Jen when concerned about my relationship.
Yeah, because she explains that all of her first... he already had with Jen, which does suck. Okay,
it does suck. But
yeah, so then they start having those like problems.
Yeah, so first it's the coffee shop, but then he makes it up with them going to the fair,
and everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine, but it's still kind of like it happened, you know.
It still happened, yeah.
The next instance is Valentine's Day, because every Valentine's Day when Peter was dating Jen, he would get her a Valentine's Day choir.
For every class.
Yeah, for every
Which
class.
Which is a little too extra.
It is extra. But I mean, it's like when you pay the school to bring a choir to sing to you.
Mm-hmm. Like a romantic song.
Yeah.
And so it sucks because even her peer, like a peer of hers, told her, oh my God, get ready, Lara Jean, because last year, Peter went all out for Jen. So of course... she's going to start comparing them, right? So she's like on edge. Yeah. So
she's waiting for it.
Yeah. She's on edge the whole day, just like waiting. And then every time she would see the choir come in, she would expect it to be for her. Yeah. But it was always for somebody else.
And it really sucks too because she's just like already feeling down because she hasn't gotten a choir. Mm-hmm. She's walking towards Peter because he's at his locker. And when he opens it, he just sees a bunch of letters. Or she sees a bunch of like card that other girls have written for him.
Yeah, they're just like pouring out.
And he's like, oh.
And he's just like, oh my God.
The girls.
Typical day.
Typical Tuesday.
For real. And it sucks because she starts feeling, it's almost like a burden to her.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's no longer cool that she's dating the popular guy. It's like, dang, well now I'm not only competing with Jen, but I'm competing with all these other girls too.
Yep, exactly. So she walks away and I think Peter sees her.
I think, after a while, Peter goes up to her and he gives her Valentine's Day gift.
She gives him his gift.
What was it again?
Who remembers? I got it from a grocery store.
Who really cares?
At the front.
Honestly, it wasn't memorable,
his
obviously.
matters because his is a poem.
And it was a beautiful poem, okay? And it's so funny because he hands her the poem and she reads it and she's just like, oh my God, so beautiful. And then I think...
because it compares her to the moon, I think?
Yeah, to the moon. And seeing her excitement... you can tell that he's kind of like, oh,
okay,
you liked it, cool.
Got it myself.
Came from my noggin, thank you.
Yeah, but
so she's really excited about the poem.
But she's also doing these volunteer hours at that senior place.
Yes, which we didn't mention, but somebody else is also volunteering. It's John Ambrose McClaren, and it's so funny because Lara Jean is such a klutz. Like,
yeah, she is.
It's so funny because she didn't get to respond to him or his letter. So she hears him and he announces himself because...
John Ambrose.
Yeah, because the girl who's talking to Lara Jean is like, oh, we're just waiting for someone named... And then that's when he's like, John Ambrose McClaren. Or whatever he says.
The third.
Junior. Thank you.
Senior. Thank you.
And then freaking Lara Jean ends up tripping and she falls on her back. Isn't it interesting that she also fell for Peter? So she fell for John Ambrose, literally.
Whoa, you're right. Didn't think about that.
Her and John Ambrose start hanging out because of the senior home, because they're both volunteering here. Yeah. But when she's with another older lady who becomes her friend, and I'm completely blanking out on her name, she tells her about the poem. Forgot why, but she just does.
I think she brings up something about John Ambrose, just kind of a little thing, but she's like, oh no, I have a boyfriend and he wrote me a letter.
Yeah, because she's just so excited about it, so she tells him about the letter, and she starts talking about the letter, and the older lady finishes it for her. She's like, oh, that's like Annabelle Lee by Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
And she's like, well, damn. Okay. So it's plagiarized.
Guess I'm throwing that one away.
Freaking burns it.
And it sucks because, the day finishes there. And we're taken to a party. So at this party they're at, she is standing with Lucas and they're just looking at Peter. And she's just like, oh, God, I'm over it.
She's just hella overthinking. And I think it's because she's so overwhelmed about having to compete with Jen that no one is really, like, it's not even Peter that's having her compete with Jen. It's just her overthinking. And as she's talking to Lucas, you just see her spiraling.
Yeah, she's like, because, I'm sharing an ice cream sandwich with you. But if I were doing it with Peter, I'd be like, has he done it with someone else? And it's like,
well, probably.
What do they think about ice cream? Are they allergic?
Do they like ice cream?
And Lucas is like, all right, whatever.
Slow
That's what's
down.
going through your mind. Okay. And then she brings up, by the way, do you remember John Ambrose? Because we are actually volunteering together. And I was really obsessed with him in the 6th grade. And
he's like, oh my God, me, 5th grade.
I know. And she's like, it doesn't mean anything. But, just thought I would bring up that it's easier to talk to him and not overthink.
Yeah, because she does tell him that when she's with John, she's not having all of these insecurities as opposed to that when she's with Peter. And it's so funny the way that she does it too, because she's like, I'm very happy
in my relationship
with Peter.
Oh my God.
With Peter.
I really, that freaking triggers me.
Really?
Yeah, because I've had a lot of encounters with people that are like, oh yeah, this, and this. But I'm like really happy in my relationship.
It's like they're telling you all of their dirty laundry and then they're like, oh no, but I'm really happy though.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Oh my gosh.
I'm happy.
Because you wouldn't have brought it up if it weren't.
Yeah, if it wasn't weighing on you. And yeah, she's still young though. So of course she's still very insecure. And plus this is her first real boyfriend and fake boyfriend. Yeah. Real and fake.
So she brings it up and Lucas is like, you're lucky because you have options. And, I don't have options. But she's like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And Peter looks at her. They like make eye contact. And Peter texts her like,
let's go.
We jet in. We go in. And she's like, yep. And they go. And they're in the car going, like, he's dropping her off. And she brings up.
This part is so. Do you remember this part? Because they're like making out and it's getting a little heated. And then, because we didn't talk about it for the first one, but she has these moments where she'll see other characters. Like her, her imagination.
Because they're like getting really into kissing. But then all of a sudden.
She sees Jen in the backseat. And then it's like Jen is kind of teasing her about it, like, oh well, he liked me better or whatever the insecurity was telling her. And she pushes Peter off and is like, I don't want to do this. And he's super nice about it too. He's like, oh, that's fine. He's like, I wasn't gonna they were literally parked in front of her house. He was like, I wasn't gonna do anything in front of your family home. That's weird. But then they bring up the poem. And she's like, I wanted to ask. About the poem. And he's like, oh, that masterpiece that I wrote. And it's like, no, it's from Edgar Allan Poe. It's like, well, have you ever seen me and Edgar? Do you see the resemblance? I know. Come on. And she's like, oh my God. You're so changes right. The whole story. Yeah. But he was like, you were so happy and I didn't want to take that from you. Because he tells her, I never actually said that I wrote it, but I couldn't really tell you because you were so happy about it. Yeah, but this feels like another I'm sorry, but I'll make it up to you type of moment. So it's kind of awkward. It's a little. I will say that this is very normal, especially in the beginning of a relationship, especially if you know the ex. Of course, there's going to be insecurities. So I think that it's very accurate the way that they're depicted. Yeah, the way that Lara Jean is going through this journey with her relationship, it's accurate because of course she would be feeling insecure, especially because she was so close to Jen at one point. Yeah. Throughout the story, we keep seeing her volunteering at the senior home. Mm-hmm. And her and John Ambrose are getting a lot closer. Mm-hmm. Every single time that she wants to bring up she's dating Peter because she feels like she needs to bring it up. Well, yeah. She hasn't though. But she always gets cut off.
or she cuts herself off.
Or not even. I feel like there have been times when she could have told him, but then she was kind of like, not the right time. Yeah. And they're getting closer. And then they're having a conversation because they were all friends when they were kids or when they were in middle school.
It was her, Peter, John Ambrose, Chris, Jen, and this other guy who's played by the guy from 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, yeah, from 13 Reasons Why, yes. Yeah. I don't remember his name, I'm so sorry. But anyway, so when her and John are hanging out, she tells him, like, hey, remember that we used to always hang out at that tree house? I don't even know whose house it is, but some tree house. And he was like, yeah, I remember. Well, they're gonna dig it up, or I don't know, they're gonna do something, like they're gonna renovate that area. So
he remembers.
Yeah, so they had buried a time capsule there of all of their prized possessions or whatever, or something important was in the time capsule.
His name is Trevor.
Trevor?
Sorry, he hit me.
Oh my god, I love how he hit you. Okay, good. Oh my god,
it's right here. I wrote
me with lacrosse. Okay, so then John is like, oh my god, yes, let's all get together and dig up the time capsule.
Yeah, and she's like, all of us, like Peter included.
Like Peter. I think she didn't mind.
I don't think she minded at this moment, actually, because I remember that they, first of all, John and her talk about, like, let's all meet up. John will get the pizza. It's going to be fine.
And they're kind of poking fun at Peter, too. Do you remember? Because then John Ambrose is like, oh my god, do you remember that Peter would always eat the last slice? He's so selfish. But it was kind of like a joking. It wasn't like they actually didn't like Peter. It was just like, oh my god, that Peter Kavinsky always eating the last slice of pizza. And so it was really awkward once they finally met up.
Because it was all of them. And
Jen showed up too.
Oh, by the way, because before this, Lara Jean brings up to Peter, hey, we're all going to meet up and do this, all of us. And it's like, oh, should we invite Jen? It's like, no, we...
Obviously not. Are you crazy?
So then when it comes to the day, you see Jen come up and it's like...
Hello?
You invited Jen? Like, we said that she wasn't going to come. But Peter realizes when they're all in there that John and Lara Jean be acting kind of...
a little sus. John is kind of feeling her a little bit.
Yeah. And Peter's like, Whoa. Okay.
Whoa. He starts getting a little possessive.
Yeah, it even comes to the point where it's like, wait, John brought the pizza?
John?
You and John...
so this party was orchestrated by you both?
You know I live next to Little Caesars. Why didn't you let me bring the pizza?
You know I have Domino's on speed dial. What is
Papa John? That was my father's name. I have the connections, Lara Jean.
To every pizza chain that you can think of.
It. Tino's, the one in the corner, I own that shit. But he realizes that they're acting a certain way with each other.
Mm-hmm. And there's tension.
There is tension.
And I mean, Jen is also there, so it adds even more tension. And then they start pulling things from the time capsule. Yeah. And it's so awkward because whatever Peter pulled out, I think it was like a little ball. I don't remember. But then freaking Jen was like, yeah, remember? And then you kissed me right after that.
And it's like, oh. Okay, what'd you get, Lara Jean?
Okay, what about you? What did you put in there? And then Chris pulls out a $20 bill and was like, heck yeah.
Lara Jean pulled out a bracelet.
A bracelet that her and Jen had. They had matching bracelets when they were in middle school. And then Jen, when she goes in there, she's like, there's nothing in there for me. And they're like, what? What did you put in there? And so we don't know at this moment in the movie just yet what it was that she put in there.
At the end, they start cleaning up. And John Ambrose is like, I'll help you, Lara Jean, I'll help you.
Yeah, so John is trying to offer like, oh no, I'll stay and help you, Lara Jean.
And Peter's
like, that's my girlfriend.
I can work with my girlfriend.
As the boyfriend, I should be the one to stay.
The actor for John Ambrose did a hella good job because I really like how he backed up and he was like, oh.
Like connecting the dots. Like,
okay, wait, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Now I get it.
Okay.
I'm out of here. And
poor guy. This was so awkward.
It was really
Lara
awkward.
Jean.
Everyone else was in there too and they were like, okay.
No, I think they left at this point.
No, everyone was leaving.
They were leaving.
Yeah,
yes,
they were leaving.
You know what? Lara Jean could have solved the problem in the first movie by just talking about it.
It's all about communication.
And she could have solved this problem too by talking about it.
Oh my gosh. So they're cleaning up. She's up in the treehouse and he's down.
He's
like picking the things that she's giving him.
Yeah, so she's handing him things. So they're cleaning the treehouse.
And she is like, or no, he says, why didn't you tell me that John Ambrose was at the place? Like, why didn't you tell me that he was working with you and that you guys planned this? Like, he brought the pizza? Like, why didn't you tell me that? And she's like, why is it a big deal?
Because again, then he tells her, like, it feels like you both orchestrated the party instead of it being for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's like, well, why did you invite Jen? And you said you weren't gonna. I was like, oh, well, you know, she's having a really hard time. So I thought it would be nice for her to come. And they start like kind of like
having a fight.
Bickering. Mm-hmm. And she says, do you want to break up? And he's like, well, hold on.
Yeah, he's just like, why would you even ask that? Like, just because they're fighting. But I think she's so overwhelmed that she doesn't know what to do. Like, how to even navigate this relationship. Or just any, really. And they make up, though.
Yeah, they do. I just want to bring up, though, because this is where everything gets brought up. Where it's kind of like...
Oh, the Valentine's Day?
The Valentine's Day thing.
The poem.
Like, why didn't you do the songs for me? It's like, well, I thought it wasn't your style. And she's like, yeah, but...
I mean, it wasn't my style, but still.
And she even asked, like, what am I supposed to do as a girlfriend? And he's like, I don't know, dress up for my
games. Oh, yes, because Jen would always dress up for his lacrosse games. And so he tells her, like, yeah, you could do that if you wanted to.
And she's like, yeah, down.
She doesn't tell that she's down. Because remember, it was a surprise.
Yeah, so the next day, she, like, dresses
up. She's in the spirit.
Yes, but it sucks because while she's like waiting for him to come, because it's basically all of the lacrosse boys are going down like a path into the bus.
Yeah, they're coming out of the gym.
Yeah,
and then everyone's cheering for them, and then they're going into the bus, and then Chris comes up to Lara Jean and she tells her, hey, your man? Yeah, he's with Jen. And then she pulls up the picture and so she took a picture of them and in the picture they're hugging each other.
Yep.
And it's like very like close, you know? And so of course Lara Jean is heartbroken at this point. But then you see Peter coming, which was kind of confusing. Because then it's like, okay, you're over there, but then you're...
When was this picture taken?
I'm confused. What's the timeline here?
Yeah.
So then Peter pulls up or comes up and then she grabs this. Yeah, she holds the picture up and she's like, were you with Jen? It's like literally in the picture.
He's like, no. It's like, oh.
That's not me.
Okay.
That's not today. That was the other day.
Mm-hmm. But they break up.
Yes, because they start fighting and then Lara Jean figures out that the night of the hot tub, he was actually waiting for Jen and not for Lara Jean.
And I think they figure this out because he says, see, I didn't want to bring up that I'm close to Jen because then you would blame her for like, you know, like
the video. And then she's trying to do the math like, okay, but how would she know that you were at the hot tub? And then that's when she's like,
And you had said that you thought it wasn't Jen. So why are you saying it is Jen now? Mm-hmm. And then he's like... So
he had always known that Jen was the one that took that video of them at the hot tub. Mm-hmm. And it just sucks because she really... I mean, she always knew that it was Jen, right? But she trusted him enough to be like, okay maybe I'll back off then about that situation. But then it just really hurt her to know that day on the hot tub, because it was, you know, I think it was a really romantic moment for the both of them.
Yeah.
It just sucked for her to figure out that he wasn't even really waiting for her that day. But I mean, in his point, she really wasn't helping the situation either. She was kind of like...
She wasn't.
She was kind of like, whatever.
You know what we forgot to bring up? For the Valentine's Day gift that he had given him, it wasn't just... Or that she had received from him. It wasn't just a poem, but it was a necklace too.
Oh, I forgot about the necklace.
So the only reason I bring that up...
Valentine's Day?
Yes, the only reason I bring that up is because after he comes back from practice, the school goes on like an aquarium trip.
It's so sad. This part made me so sad.
Yeah.
I was like heartbroken because I'm like, oh, breakups suck. Like breakups literally suck. Mm-hmm. So they're in the aquarium and they're kind of like glancing at each other because it's like awkward, right? They're kind of like glancing at each other, and then she's standing in front of like
a jellyfish.
A jellyfish one. And he stands next to her. He wants to say something. And we can only assume that he wants to, you know, at least fix some form of their relationship. But then she sees him and she just assumes. Lara Jean's always
my God.
always assuming.
She's like, do you want this back?
Oh, yeah, did you want this back? And he's like, yeah, sure, I guess.
And she literally like can't take it off, so she's like, can you do it for me?
This part was really sad.
He literally backs up though, like a horror movie, just like still looking at her. Remember that part?
It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I was like, my heart was breaking. I was so sad. But yeah, he like slowly backs away from her and then just leaves.
But you know what I like?
They broke up.
I know.
They broke up, okay, by the way.
They broke up, but she's like so lost on what to do. So she actually calls Jen to the treehouse to talk to her.
Oh, you know what? I really like this part because I think that's the moment that she finally realizes, and she even tells Jen, like, this whole time I felt like Peter was obsessed with you, but it's actually me who's obsessed with you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and
Jen is also emotional at this point too.
Yeah, and Jen even brings up like, he is really in love with you. Yeah, like, he is not in love with me at all. Yeah,
he's like super into you. Yeah. And then she even tells her, I'm having family problems. And, you know, like, she's known Peter for so long, and that's why she's always seeking him out for comfort.
Yes.
And it just sucks because Jen and Lara Jean had this relationship before, and then they just fell apart. But then she goes to the corner of the treehouse and she grabs her bracelet. And she tells her this was in the time capsule. But I guess she had moved it at some point I don't even know. So at some point. So that was also her treasure that she hid in there.
After, you know, their heart to heart, we're taken back to the senior home. Because throughout this whole movie, it's them just cleaning up the senior home. They were supposed to do like this little thing for them. Just kind of like, take out a bunch of props and they're going to have a party.
But it was supposed to be a lame party.
Yeah, and John Ambrose and Lara Jean were like, that sucks. We should let them relive like the glory days and have like this stars ball. Yeah. Where they get to dress up and they all get to party.
Which is so sweet because they even think like, just because they're old doesn't mean they don't want to have fun.
Exactly. And like, it's cute too because they're just the workers there. But one of the older women is like, dress up. You should join the party. Yeah. And so they both dress up and they look so good.
They look so freaking good. Oh my God, Lara Jean looks like an angel. She looks like an angel.
She does.
She looks so good.
They are having fun. Her and John Ambrose dance.
They dance because they're being like kind of like pushed by some of the older people. They're like, come on, take her out to dance. Just do it. And so he does.
And I don't remember if they fall or something, but they end up outside.
They dance and then they go outside and then they start making snow angels on the ground. Because it's snowing.
Yeah. And he takes that opportunity to kiss her.
Not on the floor.
They get up. And then he kisses her.
Aren't they dancing outside too? I could have sworn they were dancing.
I just know that they kiss outside. And she backs up. And she's like,
whoa.
I'm not feeling this.
Yeah. So basically, it took a kiss from John Ambrose McClaren. Yeah. For her to find out that, oh, wait, I actually still love Peter. Oh, poor John. Sucks. But I mean, it sucks. It sucks. Don't do that. That hurts. But I mean, it happens, you know? Yeah. Sometimes you think you really like somebody and then you kiss or hang out or whatever and you realize, oh, no, I don't like you like that. And it sucks.
And remember,
but that's life.
Remember, because she realizes this, but I just want to remind everyone that at the end of the first movie and the beginning of this movie, Peter says to her,
"You're gonna break my heart, Covey."
But it's kind of like also a promise, like you are not going to, like you're not supposed to. But when
you took it like that,
yeah, that's how I took it.
Really? Like, I thought he was more like. I think it was more him telling her like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna be the one to break your heart." So you know, like I'm in this till the end.
I get it. I thought it was a promise, like, no, don't do that.
Like, you promised you weren't going to break my heart.
But when she realizes that she's in love with Peter, she starts running towards the door. and running out, but she sees Peter.
And this moment was so cute because
he only came because it was snowing, and he knows that she doesn't like to drive in the snow.
Yeah, which they did bring up in their first date.
Yeah.
Because that's why she drove for a bit, because it wasn't snowing.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you don't like driving in the snow, so that's why I'm here. And it was so sweet.
Because then they're just standing there, and then he's like, break my heart into a million pieces.
I know. He's like, just do it. Break it. Break it, girl.
They kiss.
And they kiss.
And the end. Love me like you do.
Love me like you do. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Oh, wait. Can I bring up one thing?
That's how it ends. Yeah.
When they kiss at the end, they start to like float. They start floating there. I watched this movie with Niles, and she was like, "Are they getting taller? Like, what's going on?
Are they getting taller?" Yes,
felt like it.
Growth spurts. You know,
Oh
they
my
come
God.
at you fast.
Love that. Overall thoughts.
You go first.
Okay, I feel like we're gonna spend a little bit of time actually talking about this because I have a lot to say about this movie.
Okay.
I
was not expecting this, but okay.
I'm not down for this movie.
Oh.
I'm not vibing with it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about why?
Not down for this conflict where she, for some reason, didn't like Peter. I know that she's insecure, but I feel like it wasn't executed well. Mm-hmm. It had been made poignant. It was made for sure at the beginning that his correspondence with Jen was like a friendship correspondence. Mm-hmm. And he was flaky. He flaked on her twice, but nah. Even John Ambrose, although he was the rock in between them, he was barely there, and he did not leave a lasting impression to me. I can volunteer at an old people's home too, bitch.
Oh my God.
I'm going to change my score because I gave it a 2.5 originally, but I think it is going to go down to like a 2.3.
Okay.
Out of 5.
So I said I didn't really love the miscommunication or the insecurities that Lara Jean was feeling because of Jen. I know it's realistic because, you know, Jen and her were friends, and Jen is really pretty. Yeah. And Jen was, you know, having all of Peter's first. And I understand. I did hate it though, because I was like, this is too real. I actually did like John Ambrose. I thought that he was a really nice character. He was a really good person.
Yeah, he was.
And it sucks that he was reduced to this I don't even think he was that good of a love interest, to be honest. No. As I said before, it sucks that as soon as she kissed him, she realized that, oh, I didn't really like you like that.
Later.
But it happens, you know, it happens IRL, and it sucks. I just sort of wish that Lara Jean would just talk about her problems, you know? Yeah. I just wish that she would face her problems head on. I totally get it though, because she's insecure and she's young.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned before, these problems could have been solved with just a little bit of communication, you know?
Yeah, but it didn't happen.
She could have just told Peter how insecure she felt about Jen. But I am glad that she did realize on her own that, oh, I'm the one that's obsessed with Jen. It's not even you, it's me. The thing that I didn't like was how they didn't mention their friend group before this.
Yeah.
So because in the first movie, it was kind of like, because she told Peter who she wrote the letters to. And she just sort of brushed John Ambrose to the side, kind of like, oh, it's just this guy, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But he seemed to have been a much bigger role in everybody's life. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really feel like that. It just kind of was, oh, by the way, yeah, we were friends before. Yeah. My bad. So that's something I didn't really like. I did really like Peter, though. Peter was great.
He's always great.
Okay, I know we're not talking about the book, but I'm just going to give this little detail.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed by Peter Kavinsky in the book, because in the book, he was always seeking out Jen because she was going through her, you know, her family stuff. But it sucked because it's like in the in the movie, it's more like, oh, Lara Jean could have solved this with a little bit of communication. Yeah. In the book, it was like Peter could have solved this with a little bit of communication. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily hate this movie, though. I thought it was just realistic. I definitely preferred the first one, though.
I did, too.
I would give it a 3 out of 5.
That's still pretty generous.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like I would watch it again. I feel like a 2.5, I probably wouldn't watch it again.
I'll be honest with you. When I watched this movie, I was half paying attention.
Really?
I couldn't. Like, I watched it in double time speed, and I skipped any time John Ambrose came up.
Oh my god! You know what's funny? People really love John Ambrose.
I do too.
You literally
no. Here, okay. I like him too. But the fact that he's used as like okay, you're gonna have to figure out if you like Peter or not type of thing. Even though she was so down for Peter like 2 seconds ago until she received this letter. I just think it's like...
It is on brand for her. Because she's so in her daydreams. Yeah. Of course, if she receives this other love letter, she's gonna be like, oh my god, wait. But
I don't know. The fact that, like you said, it took a kiss for her to realize that she was into Peter. But I kind of also hate that this story ended with John Ambrose probably just standing there like, okay, I'm just going to go back to work now.
Okay, well, that kind of sucks.
And they never talk again. I don't know. I just feel like some of these guys that are written into the story, so like John Ambrose or Josh from the first one, they like disappear. So if you're not on Lara Jean's good side,
irrelevant.
Yeah, they get written out of the story.
But that's how life is.
No, because
you're gonna tell me that
tell me that I'm wrong.
You're gonna tell me that you would stay friends with your sister's ex.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that
this is our first fight.
I know those people don't disappear from your lives. You might not talk to
gradually do.
Yeah, they gradually do, but like Josh, for example, from the first book. Mm-hmm. Where is he? Is he still going to school? Did he graduate?
I don't even know. We'll never know.
I just wish that it didn't end with like, yay, go over there. Go. Like, you know, like you're out of the story now.
Yeah.
I really like her and Peter, but I just felt like this was an unnecessary book and an unnecessary movie. Mm-hmm. Like this conflict was just kind of like put together.
But it is a young adult book.
It is.
I don't know. I guess I get it. I didn't love it though, but I get it.
You get it?
I understand what she was going for.
I wish the conflict in young adult stories didn't always revolve around love.
Damn. Okay.
Because young adults deal with more than that. And that so far, that's all...
That's
Lara
all
Jean.
We've only read that.
No. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that the second one, out of all three, is not my favorite.
Okay.
Because it's just revolving around that and Lara Jean. Gotta worry about other stuff.
Like college.
I wish it would have shown a healthy way on how to like... I don't know, because don't you think also like when they meet up again, it's like, I forgive you, by the way. It's like, okay. And then they get taller.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Like actually have a profound conversation about everything, because she never actually told him, "Hey, I was just insecure about Jen."
This is really random to bring up, but do you remember that episode of The Office? Because I know you really like it.
Which one?
Where
there's so many.
Jim is leaving for like a trip, and him and Pam are like, "Bye." Bye, and they like kiss and like they leave, but then while Jim is leaving, he realizes that it didn't feel right, and they hugged because they've been having like marital issues.
Oh yeah, they were having problems.
I loved that scene. I loved
that was a really powerful scene.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, yes, there's issues, but we can go through it. And I wish there had been like a scene where they just kind of sat there like, oh, like after their fight, after where she was like, we should break up. I wish there would have been a scene where they sit down and they're like, oh, we're in a pickle this time. And I wish it would have been more so like to teach kids how to talk through communication. Because you got to take into account that this is for younger audiences. I don't mean to hate on her. Oh my God, I don't know where this is coming from. But I'm fueled.
This was a little red. This took a turn.
I just feel because, you know, this is geared towards a younger audience. And if you're telling a younger audience that you are not going to know you're in love unless you kiss another person who you like, which I agree, it does happen in life. You are going to have to like kind of see your options, weigh your options.
But if you remember the older woman, that is kind of like her mentor at this point, because she doesn't have a mom, so she's kind of like the mentor at this moment. Remember, she even tells her, you're going to have to kiss a few frogs to find your prince.
And then it's like, oh, but does it hurt? I forget how she asked it, but she's like, yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Which is true. Okay, I forgot about that scene. But I don't know.
No, but I understand what you're saying too. That I feel like, yeah, love is beautiful, but they're totally glossing over the fact that you have to communicate properly.
Because they never do. And I will, spoiler alert, they kind of don't in the third one either. Not until the end.
Okay.
Communication, I don't know. It always seems like
key.
All these movies are like bad, good.
No, yeah, you're right.
But maybe I'll change my opinion. Watch me, like, after we finish talking about the third one, I'm going to be like, oh my God.
I mean, I'm back on track.
The second one, though.
You're going to be like, oh my God, you know what? The third one was the bad one. The second one, not even that bad. You're going to be like, never mind.
Oh my gosh. But I think we're done.
Yeah. That took a turn.
Sure.
That took a turn. You know, we didn't have that discussion before when we like meet up and do our bullet points.
Because I try not to tell you much because I want it to be more like authentic.
Like genuine.
Because we only talk about really the story. We don't talk about our overall thoughts.
Yeah.
My overall thoughts is I don't really like John Ambrose. I still hate Kitty more.
Oh my God, thank God.
I always hate Kitty.
Uh-huh.
She, in this movie, she did nothing. Thank you. Oh wait, she sent a letter to her neighbor.
She got her dad together with the neighbor.
Hello? If respect your dad's privacy, my guy. Like, I'm so,
her dad does end up dating the neighbor, so whatever. What is Margo up to? We didn't even talk about Margo.
Margo. Margo's MarGONE. She's gone.
Margo.
I don't even know where she's at.
I don't know. She's still in
Scotland. Learning. Josh, nowhere to be seen. MIA. He's in like the back of the milk cartons. He's gone.
He just couldn't, he couldn't come back, so he's gone now. So.
Okay, wait, hold on. You know, we have to talk about one more thing. How do you feel about Noah Centineo?
Again?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. These episodes are weeks apart.
They're
weeks, maybe even years.
Months apart.
Noah Centineo, right here.
He's in my heart.
Yeah, he's like on surface level of my heart.
Oh.
Because like inside is like, my mom and like Will Smith. So like,
not even your dad.
He's there too. Right next. It's like my mom, Will Smith, my dad.
Jaden Smith.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I gotta reorganize. But I
still like Noah Centineo.
Watch him be a horrible person. Please don't be a horrible person.
God, I hope
Noah.
not. I feel like he's just cringy.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
That doesn't mean you're a horrible person.
People don't like him also because of his acting. Like his way of acting. But I mean, Debbie Ryan did the whole ear thing and now she's huge.
And now she's popping.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe later on it'll pop off.
You're right. Hello? Hello?
Hi, Niles.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh my gosh, Niles. We talked about To All the Boys I Loved Before. What do you think about the second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second one is with John Ambrose McClaren.
Yes.
I liked it, but I hated it.
Thank you.
Okay, mood. Uh-huh.
I liked it, but I hated it because I hate that she had to kiss someone so that she's sure that she likes Peter.
I hated that too.
Okay.
See? So how do you feel? What do you rate it?
Out of 5, I would give it like 2.8.
2.8.
2.8. That's really generous. You're so sweet, Niles.
I know. Thank you so much.
We miss you.
Yeah, we do.
And thank you for calling me.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course.
We will talk to you later, Niles.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
I think that concludes this episode.
Yes.
Let us know what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.